David Letterman once turned his late-night desk into a courtroom witness stand. Why? Because an extortionist was threatening to expose his secret affairs unless he paid up. Instead of cutting a check, Letterman cut straight to national TV and confessed everything live in front of millions. So how did an on-air bombshell confession not destroy him, but actually save his career? And what really happened behind the scenes of the $2 million extortion plot that nearly toppled late-night royalty? Stay tuned, because this isn't just celebrity gossip, it's a masterclass in scandal survival. Welcome back to Celeb Courtroom Chaos, where scandals meet subpoenas and we dig into the legal drama that reshaped celebrity careers. Tonight, we're rewinding to 2009, when David Letterman, yes, the Late Show legend, walked straight into one of the most jaw-dropping extortion scandals in TV history. Secret relationships with staff, a CBS News producer threatening to out him, and a courtroom case that could have ended his career on the spot. But instead, Letterman pulled a wild card, a live on-air confession. Quick sidebar, if you live for scandals with courtroom receipts and career resurrections, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's dive in. Legal tea first, late-night drama second. It all started in September 2009 when Letterman left work and found an envelope in his car. Inside, shocking threats. The note basically said, "I know about your affairs with female staffers. Pay me $2 million or the world finds out." This wasn't a fan letter. It was an extortion demand. Letterman took it straight to his lawyer, who called in law enforcement. From there, a sting operation began. Already, the scandal had all the elements of a thriller: secrecy, betrayal, and a literal ransom note in a parked car. The man behind the threat? Robert Joe Halderman, a veteran CBS News producer. Halderman wasn't some random outsider. He had access, knowledge, and credibility in the media world. Even wilder, he was reportedly bitter over his breakup with his ex-girlfriend, who had worked for Letterman, and who Halderman claimed had been one of Dave's flings. So this wasn't just a shakedown, it was personal, and that made it messier. Let's pause here, because the scandal wasn't just the extortion attempt, it was what Halderman was threatening to expose: Letterman's secret relationships with women on his staff. The name that popped up most? Stephanie Burkett. She was Letterman's longtime assistant, often seen on The Late Show in little comedy bits, and at one point even living in a house Letterman provided. Here's where it gets messy. Burkett was also Robert Halderman's ex-girlfriend. So the man trying to extort Letterman wasn't just waving around office gossip. He was fueled by jealousy and betrayal. Letterman had also been linked to other female employees over the years. While none accused him of harassment, the power dynamics were undeniable. The boss of late-night TV sleeping with women whose careers depended on him. Some critics asked, was this consensual romance, or was it favoritism that blurred into workplace abuse? And then there was Letterman's marriage. He had finally wed Regina Lasco in March 2009, the same year this all exploded, which meant his affairs weren't just a PR problem, they were a personal landmine. In a post-Yum Me Too world, revelations like this would have ended him on the spot. But in 2009, the national conversation was softer. Still, it was enough to make the extortion threat nuclear. If these details hit the tabloids without Letterman controlling the story, his career could have gone down in flames. Here's where it turns cinematic. Letterman didn't cave. Instead, he worked with law enforcement to set up a sting. Agents recorded his interactions with Halderman, catching the producer demanding the $2 million payoff. The tapes were evidence, and enough to build a criminal case. But there was still the elephant in the room. If this came out through tabloids or trial leaks, the narrative could spin wildly out of control. Letterman needed a strategy, and he chose the boldest one possible. October 1st, 2009. The Late Show. Letterman sits at his desk, looks straight into the camera, and admits, "I have had sex with women who work on this show." The audience laughs nervously, thinking it's a comedy bit. But he keeps going, explaining he was the target of a $2 million extortion plot. In less than 10 minutes, he dismantled the extortionist's leverage. By confessing publicly, he stripped Halderman of the bombshell. It was shocking, messy, and oddly brilliant. Letterman didn't just control the narrative, he owned it, live in prime time. Here's the twist. Instead of ending his career, the confession humanized him. The moment was surreal. At first, the studio audience laughed. They thought it was another Letterman bit. But then the room shifted. As he kept talking, people realized this wasn't a punchline. It was a bombshell. Imagine being in that audience. You bought tickets for late-night laughs, and suddenly you're watching a man publicly dismantle his own reputation. The fallout hit instantly. Tabloids splashed headlines. Morning shows debated it. Critics slammed him for blurring personal and professional boundaries. Feminist commentators questioned why CBS let him keep his platform after admitting to sleeping with staffers. And yet, ratings spiked. That week, The Late Show pulled in its highest numbers in years, beating out Conan O'Brien's Tonight Show. Viewers tuned in not for jokes, but to see how Letterman would handle the scandal night after night. Letterman's wife, Regina Lasco, was reportedly devastated and humiliated, but for much of the public, his transparency worked. He looked flawed, yes, but also brutally honest, a quality rare in Hollywood apologies. In a strange twist, the confession didn't just save his career, it made him must-see TV again. Letterman had turned his lowest moment into primetime spectacle. Meanwhile, Robert Halderman's case moved forward. Charged with attempted grand larceny, he eventually pled guilty in 2010. His sentence? 6 months in jail, 5 years probation, and 1,000 hours of community service. The FBI sting tapes sealed his fate, and Letterman walked away not as the accused, but as the victim of a crime. It's one of the rare times in Hollywood scandal history where the messy personal life of a celeb actually strengthened the criminal case against someone else. So why did Letterman's public confession work when so many celebrity scandals implode careers? 3 reasons. Timing. He confessed before tabloids could leak the story. He controlled the narrative from day one. Tone. Letterman leaned on his humor, acknowledging the absurdity without minimizing the seriousness. Positioning. He framed himself as a victim of extortion, not just a man caught cheating. That shifted the spotlight onto Halderman's crime, not his affairs. It was reputation jujitsu. He flipped the weight of the scandal back onto his blackmailer. Of course, it wasn't all laughs and ratings. Letterman's personal life took a hit. His marriage went through turbulence. His reputation for being prickly in private only grew. But compared to the career-ending meltdowns of other TV hosts, Letterman survived. He stayed on The Late Show until 2015, retiring on his own terms. In hindsight, the scandal barely dented his legacy. Instead, it became a bizarre footnote. The night David Letterman turned late night into confession hour. Fast forward to today. Could a star pull the same move? Probably not. In the post-Me Too era, workplace relationships carry heavier scrutiny. A modern Letterman might not be applauded for honesty, he might be canceled outright. But the lesson still stands. In a scandal, controlling the narrative early can be career-saving. Letterman showed that sometimes the boldest defense is transparency, even when it's embarrassing. So, here's the bottom line. David Letterman faced a $2 million extortion threat, exposed by a CBS producer. Instead of paying up, he confessed everything live on air. And somehow, that gamble saved his career. What do you think? Was Letterman's on-air confession genius PR strategy, or just dumb luck that the public didn't turn on him? Drop your verdict in the comments. And if you love scandals where the courtroom collides with the stage, hit subscribe. Around here, the legal tea never sleeps.